Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Spend the entire week trying to save this thing from your, I don't know, what are you doing? I'm confused. Do you finally have it straightened out over there?
I think so. I think we're in great hands.
Now, how excited are you about Sunday?
Oh, obviously, it's always great. I'm looking forward to it. Memorial Day weekend, so got most of Monday off, which makes it even better.
No, I understand that. What time does the concert start at the Link?
6 o'clock, 2 opening acts.
What time do you like to get there?
Well, usually pretty early, because
Saturday.
Not that early, but Philadelphia is always a flip of the coin. Growing up in Pottsville, I live about 90 miles from there, and I usually leave 4 hours before the show at least. So probably gonna leave here no later than 11 or 12.
Okay. All right, good. Now, do you tailgate for something like this?
Not really.
Or you just like park the car? And
just park the car and pretty much, yeah.
I mean, I've never been to something like that.
So I've occasionally tailgated, but not recently. It's been a while.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So big day. It's the same songs you've heard before. What's the difference?
Not much of a difference. It's a no repeat weekend, which means you're gonna hear
what they're not gonna do the second half of the show the same as the first half.
Correct. Yeah, they'll basically first half of the show, meaning Friday. But they're basically 32 songs. You're not gonna hear the same 16 one night, 16 another night. You won't hear the same song. There's a Metallica takeover Saturday, where there's a lot of Metallica events going on in Philly. Where they're basically taking the city over.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely sure.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much if you want a poster for the show, I'd say you might as well have gotten there yesterday. That's...
a poster.
They're usually limited to like 200 or 300, and it's crazy. I used to be able to. I went to even 8 years ago. I went to the show in Philadelphia in 2017. I got there about 3:45 and got a poster of the show. That's how much it's changed now to when it was then.
Wow.
Yeah, posters usually most popular. Obviously, the T-shirts. There's probably 4 or 5 different styles. I do not buy all 5. Buy 1 or 2 at most.
How much Metallica junk do you have?
Too much. Way too much. Because they always have their garage sales in March where they put mystery shirts on sale for $3 or $4. So you buy a couple of those because they're normally $40 at least. The only time I spend $40 on it's 50 now. The only time I spend 50 on a Metallica shirt is Sunday or when they're on the road.
You realize that you probably could have bought a small house at this
between Metallica and the 49ers, most likely. Most likely.
Okay. There you go. Well done.
Yeah,
I hope you had a great time.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. It always is.
I hope you have a great time.
Better opening acts on Sunday. Well, not a fan of too many of the opening acts, period. Better opening acts on Sunday than there are tonight, so that will help.
Are these the same opening acts they always have?
No, they change all the time. Yeah. Usually have at least 2 opening acts and then close with the third act.
Remarkable. All right.
Except for the show here, what was it, 20, whatever, the year Bernie retired, 2019.
Okay.
So they had Jim Brewer basically doing a pre-show led up to the show, which it was fun, but I'd rather an opening act.
Did they ever ask you what your opinion is?
No.
Makes them average.
No.
All right. So, yeah. Penn State baseball is now in the Big Ten semifinals. They beat Washington and USC, so they beat two of the West Coast teams that had been both within the top 5 of the Big Ten this season. It's the second year in a row that Penn State has gone to the Big Ten semifinals. They took it one step further last year and got to the championship game, and that's what they're attempting to do in this scenario, which is just remarkable. Mike Gambino's done a great job.
An excellent job.
Tomorrow, Penn State will play in the men's lacrosse Final Four. It's the third time under Jeff Tambroni they've done this. It's going to be at Gillette in Foxborough.
Yep.
They will get Cornell, which is the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. Yet, ironically, Penn State earlier in the season went to Ithaca and beat Cornell in overtime. I think it was 13-12 or 14-13 or so. It was 13-12, I think was the final. And I think that that what he has done, I don't think it's any coincidence that a lot of this stuff has happened since Panzer was built and put in place. I mean, a stadium like that. Now, there's certain things I would do differently. I mean, it's one thing about you watch the Big Ten Network, and you could see mistakes left and right as to how these things are done. I mean, I'm talking everywhere. How many times do you look at a Big Ten Network broadcast and the background is a bench and the street is behind it? How many times do you watch Penn State lacrosse and you see the bench, some fans, oh, but by the way, there's the indoor track behind it. Yeah. You got to think of these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in most of these sports, they don't think of it.
No.
They don't think of it at all. But back to the ability to get just one outstanding lacrosse team after another. You have to give Jeff and his staff a ton of credit because they've been able to find great pieces around stars, and they've had stars. I mean, they've had stars. This team has it. But you know where I think, when I look at this team, there's one area in particular where I just feel like there's been an upgrade in the last 6 years. Because I was at the 2019 quarterfinals when they beat Loyola. I feel that they are a better face-off team now than they were before. And I think that it's amazing how you can string together multiple possessions in a row when you're really a good face-off team. I remember when they played Yale in the 2019 semifinals, and Yale's face-off ability was just so frustrating to watch because it was just that good. You're like, And Penn State had was a good face-off team that year, but this kid from Yale was superior at it, and he just kept stringing together possessions. Even if they didn't score, they're running time off the clock. Penn State's become a better face-off team this year, and again, they've had a couple of different guys have to do it this year, but they're just so much better at it now. And Trainer is just a superior talent. Superior talent. And look, I know Cornell has great talent. There's no getting around it. Great talent. But you know what? Penn State's really balanced. And Trainer attracts so much attention. Just by attracting attention, he makes everybody else better. Makes everybody better. I mean, I know this is stuff you personally don't want to talk about. You want to talk about Metallica.
No, it's...
Yeah, but, it's just...
Yeah, and it's
kind of a sad life you live.
No, and that's obviously another opportunity for them, without question. And I've had the chance to play on some great fields, too. There's no question about it, obviously.
They have played great.
Yeah.
They have played an outstanding
absolutely
schedule.
Sure. And it gets you prepared for this moment. There's no doubt about it.
It's interesting that the two favorites are Syracuse and Cornell.
Right.
Yet the irony is that during the regular season, Penn State won in overtime at Cornell, and Maryland beat Syracuse. Interesting. And as I mentioned yesterday, that they're doing something actually I like. I think it's good for the sport of lacrosse. The women's Final Four is today at Gillette. The men's Final Four is tomorrow at Gillette. The women's championship game is Sunday at Gillette, and the men's championship game is Monday, Memorial Day at Gillette. So, I mean, having the entire lacrosse community there, I think is, that's a big plus.
Absolutely.
Big plus for the sport. They've decided to do the 1 through 12 seeding. For the college football playoff. Now, there are concessions. Here are the concessions. The Big 12 and the ACC, the concession is simple. As you know, when Boise State went to the quarterfinals and played in the Fiesta Bowl and got a first-round bye, they got $8 million. Right? Penn State had to earn its $8 million by winning the first game and then getting to the second game. Okay. Well, the concession is that even if the conference champions of the Big 12 and the ACC are seated outside the top four, they'll still get the $8 million, even though they have to play a first-round game. So the conferences, not just the schools. I mean, Penn State.
Right.
Penn State earned what? What did Penn State earn? $16 million or something like that. $4 million.
I think it was, and 8. Right? Yeah, it should have been 16.
16, right? But that went to the conference. And then it got distributed, just like what Ohio State did, went to the conference and got distributed. Okay. Just so everybody knows how it works. And that's the concession. Now, what the concession was to the group of 5, because you needed 6 votes from the group of 5 to get there, I don't know what the concession was. I don't know. I don't think it was the $8 million. But there was a concession made to the group of 5. Now, you're talking about one school.
Sure.
Right? But I just, so this is what they had. This is for 1 year only. The rules all change next year. We're talking about 2026. The rules are going to be different.
Yeah.
Because this is the last year of the opening 12-year contract of the college football playoff. Maybe the second year with 12, but this is the last year of the 12-year deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
That got us from 4 eventually to 12. So you needed unanimous approval to have this happen. There had to be concessions, and that's my understanding, that the concession was regardless of where you're seated,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in the top four, you're in the top four.
Right.
You're going to get a bye. Or if you were seeded, you could be 11 and 12, but you're the conference champions from the ACC and the Big 12, you'll get the $8 million. The conferences will.
Yeah. The other part of it, I think they got it right, at least for now. Sure. I think that there's no question. Anybody that watched the playoffs last year, yes, Arizona State nearly pulled the upset off. They did not belong in the second with a bye. There's no doubt about it. So I think that you get it right here. You have the top 4 teams in college football getting the bye. Yes, I know anyone in a conference is going to look at it and say, hey, this is helping one certain team that does not play in a conference. There's no doubt about that. But I will say I think it's going to be no different in terms of ranking than it's always been. Notre Dame not playing the conference championship is going to hurt them. There's no doubt about it. You're going to have that bye week at the end for them. So can they be a top 4 team? Yes, but that last week, you're going to see a lot of teams play that extra game, and that's going to be taken into consideration because it always is. I don't think that part is ever going to be changed at all, for the good and for the bad. Yeah, obviously, I think there's bad parts of that, but I think there's very good parts of that. I do think there will be teams, and yes, ratings matter. There will be teams, the Ohio States, the Penn States of the world, Alabamas, that they play that conference championship. They win that conference championship.
Well, this is what I think you have wrong with the conference championship game. I think this is how it's going to change. Okay, when they get to 4 Big Ten teams, 4 SEC teams.
Yep.
Okay, conference championship game may be between teams 4 and 5.
And 5. Yeah, could be.
Okay,
could be.
There's not going to be an extra.
There's not going to be that. Yeah.
Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia.
No, there won't be.
I'm just telling. I think that's the way it's going to be. In other words, it'll be essentially a play-in game for somebody.
For some, yeah, right? I think so.
The ACC could be 2 versus 3.
Yes.
The Big 12 could be 2 versus 3.
Yep.
In other words, let's make this a play-in game with stakes.
Yeah, sure. But I do think the flip side of it, you have your Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship convincingly. They have 1 loss, or they have 2. Let's do 2 losses. Notre Dame has 1 loss, and strength of schedule is not overly the best for Notre Dame. Their 1 loss came to Texas A&M. Ohio State's got those 2 losses. I think Ohio State gets the nod in the top 4 over Notre Dame if it comes to that.
Sure.
I don't think there's any doubt that that's going to be taken into consideration.
The other part, too, is Notre Dame, which had been prohibited from getting a bye.
Yeah.
Now can get a bye.
Can get one. Absolutely.
In the 1 through 12. I mean, they can now get a bye.
I think what it also does is you probably, and I think the inevitable eventually could be many, many years down the road that they do join a conference, but this gives them no incentive now to join a conference. I don't think there's any doubt at this point they're not gonna share their revenue. They have their own TV network essentially.
The 12-year deal with Clemson should have told everybody that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
If they're going to join the ACC, they could have put Clemson every year all the time.
Which they're not going to do.
It's a separate deal.
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
Yeah, they're not going to do
it. They don't have to. They have the deal with NBC. They're in good shape. They can get a first-round bye now in the playoff. They're in good shape. Right. They have to make sure that they don't lose 2 games.
Yeah.
And based on their schedule, they're going to lose 2 games.
No.
No. Clemson is essentially replacing USC.
Yeah.
The USC contract, and they started playing USC in 1926. They played every year except during World War II. But that contract runs out next year. The 26th season will be the last season of it. That game will be in Los Angeles. They're not going to renew it.
No.
And it's the USC side that doesn't want to renew it. But that's the bottom line. And that's why the Clemson series was brought in. They needed a signature game
Sure.
to replace USC, which was a signature game. Other than that, with all due respect, I think Navy and Army are certainly, they've done a great job of being vastly improved programs.
They're relevant. Yes, I agree.
No getting around it. But don't tell me that those are signature games.
No.
Please, I don't want to hear that.
No, and that's
that's. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not 1944.
No, absolutely. And there's a reason. For so many years we've seen this, and this was long prior to the playoffs even being 4 teams, where you see teams go undefeated, and you see the people on the outside looking in saying, this team should be playing for a national championship. No, they shouldn't. No, when Central Florida is undefeated, they don't play the caliber of opponents Ohio State, Penn State, Alabama, Georgia play. Not even close. And if Alabama was on the field, they'd absolutely run them off the field. That's where... there's no question these programs are relevant. Yes. Do they potentially even get a playoff spot being undefeated? Yes. But there is no way on earth they are better than the schools I just named.
No. But as I've said many times in a variety of sports, just get into the tournament.
Mm-hmm. And
After
then
that,
absolutely.
we'll see what you have.
Yeah, can upsets happen?
So
sure.
Now the opportunity for the UCFs of the world to get into the tournament. Well, it's there because they're a Big 12 school.
Absolutely. Now they can. Yeah.
But somebody else like Boise State did last year. They can get into the tournament.
Absolutely.
Once you get into the tournament, hey, you never know.
No.
And I think that's the important part of what a tournament means. At least that's how I view it. That's how important to me a tournament can be. That just getting in, and after that, you know what? You never know.
Right.
You never know. So they changed that. My understanding, that was the concession for the Big 12 and the ACC for 1 year. After that, you're on your own because the rules change after that. But, yeah.
I do think the seeding rules, well, I think the playoffs will expand, first of all, but I do think the seeding
of...
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll go to 16.
Yes.
There's no don't mess around with this. Let's go to 14
go to 16. No, go right to 16.
You're going to go to 16 anyway.
Yeah,
just do
it. I agree. But I do think the seeding as is right now is going to stay the same. I do think you're going to go with the best teams. I don't think they're going to change that. And I also think the NFL needs to take notes on it because I think this is absolutely...
the NFL should have taken notes because the 49ers be the 7th seed most.
That's right. It'd be the 7th seed, and there would not be these 7 and 9 teams playing 14 and 3 teams or 7 and 10 teams.
For some reason, you know what? Actually... You want to know why my understanding is the NFL did not push it? Right? And they withdrew it? Because next year's the year they want to put in the 18 proposal.
Yeah.
That's more important to them than seeding. They will change the seeding 3 or 4 years from now. But the goal the entire time of the NFL has been to get this to 18. And my understanding is that next year is the year they want to get to 18. And so instead of trying to push the playoff proposal this year, they had Detroit back off on it. Because they want to put all of the chips into the 18 game on the 18-game table.
That makes sense because I thought it was awful interesting they withdrew it this late. That was I thought something was very questionable about it, and that makes more sense now.
Glad it makes sense to you.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And you go 18, and then the question becomes, what do you do with the preseason? You go 2 preseason games then?
Look, it's a waste of time now anyway.
Completely, because the guys don't play.
Because the month of September, last year, the best team was Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
They were the best team.
Yeah.
What was their record in September?
Yeah, 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah.
Okay? Because everybody was trying to figure out what to do, how to play, who could do what, who couldn't do something. I mean, on and on you go. I mean, and that's the way the month of September is going to continue to be.
Right.
The month of September is going to be the mystery month in the NFL. It's just going to be the mystery month in the NFL the entire time because everybody's essentially playing for the first time. And I mean, 2 preseason games, that's enough to find out who should be making the team. And that's what it comes down to anyway. It's like what I'm trying to fill out roster spots 35 to 53. I have 2 preseason games to do it. That's about what it is. Roster spots 1 through 34, they're done. You already know who they are. You're in good shape. You got it. So 2 preseason games, 18 regular season games, the ability to increase inventory for the networks, maybe more Netflix opportunities, whatever it may be, but that's what, I think that's what they want to do. They want to put the 18-game proposal on the table, have the owners approve it next year.
Which I think it will be.
And then take it to because it's not just the owners unilaterally saying we're going to do it. You have to take it to the NFLPA. And they're going to have to be some concessions. And I think one of the concessions will be a second bye week.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's needed too in a lot of ways.
Agreed.
I don't think there's any doubt.
Agreed. No, agreed. That's why I brought it up. I think that's one of the concessions you make is a second bye week in all of this, and I think that that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna get to 18. Racing. Although actually, I want to bring up something I previewed yesterday and I did not get to. And that is the pursuit of money and the problems that you can have sometimes can take your sport backwards. We're going to have racing this weekend. Does anybody know the names of any of the drivers?
Nope.
In the Indianapolis 500. I mean, I know Joseph Newgarden, an American.
Not many.
An American, by the way, has won the last 2 Indy 500s. He has a chance now to be the first driver ever to win 3 in a row. But who are the rest of these people? Right? I mean, do I know some of them? Sure, I know who Will Power is. Obviously, Elio Castroneves. Castroneves is probably at least known to a lot of people out there because he was on Dancing with the Stars. But Temuka Sato has won this race twice. Do you even know who he is?
Nope. I mean, I did, but I didn't.
No, he speaks highly of you.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
But
no.
Nobody knows who these people are.
No.
Okay. Now, why? Because they split. Years ago, there was a split between a group called CART and IRL, Indy Racing League.
Right.
And they wanted to form the Indy Racing League. Tony Hallman was the one that wanted to do it. The CART guys were like, hey, wait a minute, this makes no sense to us. They broke away. Well, who was in the CART group? Oh, I don't know, Gordon John Cock, Mario Andretti, Michael Andretti, Bobby Rahal. You're like sitting there like going, like all the big names in the sport. Suddenly, for years, we're not racing at Indianapolis. The big names for years they were not allowed on the track in Indianapolis. And what they did was they didn't kill the sport, but they dramatically hurt the sport with that stance.
Sure.
Dramatically. We've seen this in other areas. Right? We've seen this in other areas. The baseball lockout in 94. Okay? Baseball is a $10 to $12 billion a year industry right now. But is it as popular as it was in 1994?
No, not even close. No, they've never recovered from that.
No, they're
Absolutely
not at the same
haven't.
level of popularity. You can see it in the TV ratings. You can see it. PGA Live. Now, I realize that it's a double whammy here because Tiger Woods is not playing on the PGA Tour. Anytime he's playing, it does lift the ratings. Okay, so I will. You have to have that concession, some common sense here. But the bottom line is, you're watching a PGA Tour event. Who are these people?
Yeah.
Right. Let's look at the leaderboard this week. Now, I realize this is after a major, so you're not going to have the same kind of leaderboard. Okay. Where the heck is this thing? I saw this earlier. I'm looking at the yeah. Look, I follow sports. I follow golf. I don't even know who the heck these people are. What are we doing here? Doe. This is the Mexico. Okay, that's okay. Wrong one. Let's see, which one is it here? I don't even know where they're playing this week. It's one thing they don't because of sponsor names, they don't identify where anything's being played anymore.
No.
I mean, it's like, okay, great. Let's see here. Scheffler dominates. John Pack told everybody that the Knicks fired him up. Who cares? Like, really? Like, you're a golfer. You're telling me that they fired you up? What do we got here? Let's see what we got. Do we have like a leaderboard here? PGA Tour. Yeah. Okay, they're playing at Colonial. So this is the Ben Hogan course, Fort Worth. Gotterup's the leader. Okay? Griffin's second, Pack's third, Gim is fourth, Ricky Fowler's on the board. People at least know him. Like, that's your leaderboard.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to disparage these other four guys.
Right.
Because obviously they're good players. Just to have your tour card, you got to be good. As I always tell everybody all the time, there are 8 billion people in the world, 156 guys have their tour card. Well, gee, how good are you? I mean, you got to be really good. But nobody knows who these people are. Last week, Scheffler is playing with the lead, kind of fights his way through the front nine, and finally gets caught in this tie for the lead. Who tied him? John Rahm from Live.
Yeah.
See, that's one thing about the majors. And I'll be going down to the U.S. Open next month at Oakmont, and they'll all be there. DeChambeau will be there. Koepka will be there. Rahm will be there. But that's the only time these guys get together, where you've got all the big names on the course at the same time. It's the only time. Yeah, they've driven such wedges over the years where they've hurt their sport so much. And I brought up the racing part because this is their big weekend.
Absolutely.
And not only that, it's how they do it.
That's a big part of it.
So now let's get to the method of doing it, where you can outthink yourself. Okay? Formula One, the Grand Prix of Monaco. I mean, the first 10 spots in the starting grid will be the exact finish of the race. No, there's no passing in that. Nobody passes. It's kind of like you in the Schuylkill. Okay? I mean, last year's race in Monaco, okay, the first 10 spots were the exact placement of how they finished. Did you know that? You do now.
Yeah. No.
Well, I didn't know it until it was pointed out to me. Somebody sent me a graph, a grid. Like, oh, okay. Okay. So now let's get to NASCAR. I'll start with that. World 600. It's down at Charlotte. It's still the Coca-Cola 600? What's it called? I have no idea.
I was going to say, that's always how I knew it as. I have no idea what it is now.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out.
That's...
Because to me, I call it the World 600. Let's see. What do we got here? What do we got? Golf, men's tennis, baseball, Formula One. Formula One.
Yeah, it's Coca-Cola 600.
Coca-Cola 600.
Yep.
Okay.
There's also the Bank of America Roval 400 prior to that, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's just a shorter race. All right, so.
With shorter drivers, probably, too.
Yeah. So, you're so disparaging.
Lesser known drivers. There you go.
Oh, much better. Yeah. I feel better about it. So, do you know anybody that follows racing that thinks this stage thing is a great idea?
No.
No.
Nope.
What cracks me up is they'll make a big deal out of the points.
Yep.
Nobody gives a darn about the points.
Not anymore.
Never.
Well, when the Cup, when Earnhardt and Petty were racing for the Cup, they cared because you didn't have to redraw anything. The point lead and decline would be each week.
Right.
You weren't literally changing up things.
Nobody cares about the points.
If your driver's in it in the end, I think you do. And back then, now I don't think.
I'm talking about the fans. Don't care about the points.
No.
Okay?
No.
They care about who wins the Daytona 500.
Sure. Well, if you win at that time, I don't even know what it's called now, Xfinity Cup. If you won the Winston Cup at that point, they cared. Sure. You had the bragging rights. Only two, three. Johnson wins 7 now. If he did, there's 3, but there were 2 at that time.
I mean, golf, it's the race to the FedEx Cup. Who won last year's FedEx Cup?
Yeah. No.
In NASCAR, who won the points championship last year?
No.
Who won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, exactly.
Who won the World Series?
Yeah.
Who won the Stanley Cup?
Mm-hmm.
Who won the NBA championship?
Right.
Who won the college football playoff? Who won the Final Four this year in the college NCAA basketball tournament? Who won the points championship in NASCAR? Who won the FedEx Cup?
I think the same could be said who won Daytona last year in NASCAR. I just think the fan interest has gone away.
Yes. And it's a gimmick.
And
get in the car and race 600 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Just go.
And part of that, as great as Mike Helton was on NASCAR's darkest day, which I thought he handled, obviously, the Daytona 500 in 2001, the passing of Dale Earnhardt. Mm-hmm. Incredible. Yeah. Beyond that, he's hurt the sport in a big way. Yeah. You cannot essentially...
That's right.
For lack of a better term, you can't give the finger to the fans that made you who you are. And I feel like NASCAR did that.
See, this is what I'm talking about, some of these sports here. I mean, the PGA Tour Live split.
Yeah.
Right? Kart IRL split.
Absolutely.
Okay. Baseball 94.
Sure.
With the lockout?
Absolutely.
Strike. Lockout. It was a lockout. We're not going to play the World Series.
Not going to play the World Series.
The World Series? Really?
And then to top it off, you bring replacement players back for a couple months after that. So, yeah, it's never been the same. The home run race of 98 was good for the sport for a short time. And then, obviously, there were asterisks next to it. Everything could hurt baseball in the 90s into now.
It's not an intelligently run sport.
No, and it hasn't been for years.
It's not an intelligently run business.
It's not been for years.
Right. So this stage and that's the third stage. I'm like, oh, for God's sakes. Right? It means nothing to me. Zero.
No.
I want to know who won the race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who won?
Right.
Okay, now let's go to Indy. Okay? Now, they don't do the stage thing.
No.
Okay. Except, I don't know, got to watch the fuel. Got to watch the fuel. Get in the thing and go as fast as you can and run the other guys out of gas. Right? Guess what? If you're running hard and running fast, they're going to have to catch you. And guess what? They're going to use the same fuel you do.
Good Lord.
Huh? Right? I mean, I'm sick and tired. Like, no offense. It was a funny line in the movie, but he's not wrong.
He's not. No, he's not.
Ricky Bobby. if you aren't first, you might as well be last.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Oh, I got to watch the fuel here. That way we can get a top 10 finish and we can get the points. Nobody who watches the sport cares about the points. Okay? It's one of the few times you got casual fans watching Indianapolis racing.
Yeah,
You got
absolutely.
casual fans watching. Hit the gas, go as hard as you can, and try and win the darn thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I wrong here?
No. Do you really think? Do you think Cale Yarborough and any of the Jarretts or Richard Petty or Dale Earnhardt gave a what about gas?
No.
They had the foot on the gas. They were trying to win the race.
What do you think Mario Andretti cared about gas?
No.
Mario Andretti was boom.
Al Unser Jr., Rick Mears, they didn't care. AJ Foyt, they didn't care about him. Absolutely
Rick
not.
Mears, they put the foot. Now they're like, I don't know. We got to watch. I mean, there was some radio transmission last year. They said, I can't remember the driver. And someone just like, hey, Jason, we're kind of watching fuel here a little. You kind of need to back off a little bit. And he finally says, great. I just got passed twice. Right? Hit the gas.
Exactly.
Go hard.
Yeah.
Okay? What the heck?
There is
Make them catch you.
Yeah. There's a huge reason for F1's popularity taking off what it was. Number one, it's an exciting sport, yes, but the other two,
I can't stand F1.
The other two racing sports have gotten worse. And that's a big reason why. Racing fans are some of the most loyal fans, and you still drive them away. For life, no pun intended. Yeah. That is where it's baffling that you do that, and it's when you look at Pocono,
we're watching fuel. Yeah. Like, just drive.
Okay. Pocono Raceway 25 years ago, you couldn't get a ticket beyond January for either race. Now you walk up the day of, you probably get 5 tickets.
Okay, so I will say this for Indianapolis. Because I had a long talk with Rob Blackman, who's on
the Brickyard. Yeah,
he's on the he'll be the pit reporter on radio.
Yes,
on the radio broadcast. Rob told me it's sold out, and they're lifting the blackout in Indianapolis for the second time ever.
Nice.
So the fans will be showing up, but I listen to this stuff. Yeah. Well, it's all part of the race strategy. Here's a race strategy.
Yeah. Win.
Go. Okay, let's try that.
Win.
Let's just go. And don't tell me I don't know you. I don't know anything. Guess what? Why doesn't somebody try it?
Yeah.
Okay? Why doesn't somebody try it? Oh, well, yeah, the cars are so evenly. Guess what? If you're half a track in front of somebody and you pit, you're still going to be right there in the mix because they still have to pit too.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's ridiculous. Run hard.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to kind of back off on the fuel. Hey, guess what? If they're trying to catch you, they're going to use fuel too.
Yeah.
Right? It's 500 miles.
That's what cautions are for. Pit on the caution.
Exactly.
Cry out loud. It's literally just, Yeah, I agree. 100% agree.
I hear stuff like that, and I'm like going, what do you mean, like, slow down? Slow down? It's a race. You mean slow down? Slow down.
And the other...
It's a race. Why are you slowing down?
The other problem, obviously, that NASCAR especially has had, and again, look, they can't entirely control it, but how many Daytona 500s have been run on Monday at 11 a.m.?
Well, here's the other one, too. Here's the other Indy problem. It's an Indy problem, not a NASCAR problem, because when NASCAR has a crash at the end...
Yeah, they do. They've fixed it. That used to be a problem.
Right. They now...
Yeah.
Sit there and like, okay, stop. Okay, and we're going to have a finish to it.
Yeah, there will be a finish. There used to not be.
Indy doesn't do that.
No.
Indy, how many times in the last 10 years has the Indy 500 ended on a yellow?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
You're like, that's exciting. They're going 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Interstate 65, they're also going 80.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's an interstate highway.
I take nothing away from Dale Earnhardt's Daytona 500 victory. How did he win it? Under caution.
Yeah. Yeah.
His one victory at the 500. Now, he owned Daytona every other time he raced there. He won 33 times, his one 500 victory was under caution.
Yeah.
The year before that, Gordon won it under caution.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. That's something NASCAR has fixed for the better. There's no doubt.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's the other part with Indy. It's like,
yeah.
And because, look, things do get a little crazy.
Sure.
At the end of the race. I mean, it's...
Absolutely, because everybody's getting their nose in to try to win the race.
Guess what? Now they're finally trying to win.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, now they're trying to win.
Now they try to win on that final lap. Yeah.
This is great. Now we're actually seeing racing. Fabulous. That's what we're hoping for.
So they can knock the Pepsi bottle off from their Coke car. In victory lane.
That is just so low.
Jeff Gordon did that about 3 or 4 times. I remember he had the DuPont, and he had a Pepsi sponsorship. They put a Coke bottle, he knocks it down, they put another one, smacks it off again.
Oh, man. Yeah.
The one thing is certain, as a sponsor, you deserve mentions. You pay your hard-earned money without question.
No.
I will. Absolutely.
I could care less how many hats they change. It doesn't matter to me.
But I will also say you get your money's worth with NASCAR, because I don't think I have ever seen a victory speech where they haven't named every sponsor 10 times.
I want to thank Goodyear.
Even when their car wrecks. Is it the best time to be mentioning the brand engine when you blew the engine? I'll tell you, the Sheets car ran really well today. John's transmission ran really well for me, even though I blew the transmission in lap 3.
Okay, that may not be the best use of the sponsor name there.
No, I've seen it.
Okay. I'll tell you, those Firestone tires, when they blew out.
They blew out when I needed them most. I just got the 4 tire changed, 4 laps to go, and I blew them out.
I don't think that worked well. Wow. They do that.
Yeah. Oh, they do. They always do. That's again, take nothing away. These sponsors pay a lot of money and a lot of hard-earned money. But yeah, it is funny hearing the drivers sometimes when they wreck. When they reckon they're okay. Let's emphasize that. They reckon they're okay, and they talk about...
Yeah, Bobby, why don't you leave out the sponsor's name that broke down?
I want to thank Jim's Detail for painting that hood that just flew off.
Oh, golly. Jim's... sure did look nice, though. Sure did look nice. Boy. But, yeah, these are... It's race weekend.
It is. It's a big weekend. It's always a big weekend for both, because you obviously hadn't. It used to be bigger many years ago. There's no doubt. But yeah, you have the 500, and then you have obviously. There's something always special about racing under the lights, I think, and you go back, especially when you're talking about the race in Charlotte is always a big one. The race in Bristol, I think, is always big because you have those high banks and that short track.
Oh, it's short, all right.
Yeah, so I think that's always there's always something special about those. And if you're NASCAR or Indy, you've got to take care of your big events.
Yeah,
and do better in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So there you go. Big race weekend. Looking forward to it.
Sure.
And you, of course, now are getting ready to gear up and go see Metallica.
Uh-huh.
Nothing exciting about that?
Oh, always. Plenty of exciting opportunities to see Metallica.
What? Name some.
The fact that it's a Metallica, they always put on an incredible show. You get your money's worth.
Okay, no offense. I had that part.
They've also reached the point where it's a little bit more of, it's not a festival, but I think the anticipation obviously is always huge. Absolutely. Big show.
You're not selling me here.
You had to be a rock / metal fan.
When's the first time you saw them?
First time I saw them at the Allentown Fairgrounds in 1992.
The Allentown Fairgrounds?
I did.
How far have they come?
I know. Well, yeah, and that was after, obviously Enter Sandman is on the Black Album. That's their biggest album. That was a #1 Billboard album. But they weren't mainstream really yet at that time. So, yeah, they played.
900 years ago.
That was 1991, yeah. So, and then you go back to, obviously, yeah, they played the Fairgrounds. And the second time I saw them was here in 1997. And then, obviously, from there, just kept seeing them more and more. Only missed one tour since the Low tour. Because they were supposed to come here for it was the St. Anger tour. They were supposed to come here and did not. So that was a big part of it.
Restraining order?
They may have. Bernie did an excellent job almost confirming a date, and then I think they opted for a show in Canada, and that was the end, because they had already played 2 in Pennsylvania.
So they found out you didn't have a passport.
They probably did, and said, all right, you know what? So I did miss that tour. But yeah, other than that,
the only one you've missed.
The only one I missed since the Low tour in 97, yep.
And you are lower this time. You're not in the pit. But
no. I'll be in the seats.
Yeah, but you're lower.
Yeah. Enough of I can do. Those are the best seats for me at this point. And that's not.
Oh, absolutely.
Too old for the pit and the floor and all of those anymore.
No. I understand completely.
Absolutely.
Will you buy any merch?
Probably shirt and maybe one other item. Usually shirts, the biggest thing I buy.
Do you buy food or beverage when you're at the?
It varies. In this one, probably not.
This is in the evening, right?
This is the evening, yeah.
During the day, you might?
I probably will buy something before I go, yeah. Yep.
What time do they actually take the stage?
They usually take about 9. Play 9 to 11. Yep. 9:15. Usually about 2 hours.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, I hope you have a great time. I mean,
should be a good one.
It sounds like every time you go, you have a great time.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever not had a great time? And I don't mean them.
No.
I'm talking either traffic, some other.
Oh, traffic is always tough. I'd even say the last time getting there, just getting, and this happens any time. I've already heard about this stadium. Getting out of MetLife Stadium was not a fun time. I think that was one of the toughest stadiums getting out of in a long time.
Really?
For getting out of, yes. Getting in, no. Getting in was easy. Getting out of was not easy. Getting out of MetLife Stadium. Hershey is tough to get. I've never seen Metallica in Hershey.
I'm trying to think about what the issue would be getting out of that stadium.
I definitely had trouble.
Especially at that hour, because I feel like the ingress egress is pretty good there.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
It took some time. There's no doubt. Yeah. Hershey is kind of a hit or miss. I've never seen Metallica in Hershey. I've seen several concerts in Hershey, but at
the stadium.
Yeah, at the stadium. Yep. But you park in the grass. You park across from the Giants Center.
Yeah.
And you pretty much it takes time to get over to your car. By the time you get over to your car, it's probably another hour till you get out at least, if not longer. That takes some time.
Okay.
Obviously, hefty traffic is expected no matter where you go.
Different, in terms of number of lanes and number of exits out.
Yeah, exactly. There's not many because you're going down that.
With MetLife, I know it's bigger and the whole thing, but if the concert's over at 11 o'clock at night, you're probably at your car by 11:30, 11:45.
Yeah, around there.
Right.
Yep.
I'm just surprised it would.
It took a while.
That it takes a long time to get out. How many people were there? 40, 50,000?
About 50,000, yeah. And I think part of it is a lot of the traffic going to New York. gets lost. That's part of it. You get backing up, trying to get out of. Yeah. I think that's part of it.
Even at that hour?
Yeah. Because it was it was a Friday night, so that was probably a little bit of a difference too.
Okay. All right.
But yeah,
that does make a difference.
I didn't have trouble getting out of Pittsburgh, which I think I've heard a lot of people have.
I was surprised about that.
Did not have any trouble.
Park across?
I parked at the Champions Garage. Okay. They played at PNC Park. I parked at the Champions Garage there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was close.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I got out of the garage, no problem.
Okay.
Got right onto it. It obviously congested onto.
Get on 376.
Yeah, exactly. Congested getting onto 376. But once I got on 376.
Right, you're out
there. Yeah, you were out there.
That's good. That's good. No.
It's easier from Pottsville going to Philadelphia because all you got to do is just get right on 70. Take that right on 76, and you're going right home.
Yeah.
Because you get on the blue route.
Right.
But
that's right.
Yeah. So, from here it can be once you get off towards 322, you're fine. But yeah, it takes some time to get there from Philly.
Well, I hope you have a great time on Sunday.
Should be fun.
I can't believe you're blowing off the Indy 500 and the World 600 to do this. Seems kind of un-American.
Maybe I'll watch it in between
Seems kind of un-American. You're not going to watch any of it. What are you talking about?
Probably not.
You're going to be in some merch line hoping to get...
No, I'll be at the merch line before the show, standing around. I never go during the show. No way. You're in the line during the show, you're going to miss a band. That line is long.
I admire your standards. Hey, I hope you have a great time.
Should be fun.
Fun time. Be safe and have a great time down there. I know it's something you've been looking forward to.
Absolutely.
You going with your brother?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Does Metallica have bobbleheads?
They have a set of 4 they came out with years ago. I think like 2003.
You know what my next question is.
Yes, I have them. How to buy them individually. They were not... I was not a member of the Metallica fan club until 2005.
How much does it cost to join that?
Nothing now. It used to be $40. It was actually better when you paid for it because you had less members and you had better chances at other things. But it was, I think it was a fan club exclusive only, so I had to buy them individually after that, which took some time. But now I have all 4. They're kind of a cartoon of the band, too. It's not really like well detailed. They do have, I think for rock, they do a Rock Icons series, which is sort of statues. Those are about as well detailed as it gets. I do have Metallica on those.
Have a great time.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, have a great weekend. Everybody
Absolutely.
Be safe.
Holiday weekend.
We'll be back
yes.
Tuesday.
Yes.
Not only that, sure. Tuesday we'll be back. And it's going to be a busy week with Coaches versus Cancer coming up. It's also probably, it looks like decision week for Yannick Cohn and Niederhauser as to what he decides on the NBA draft or returning to Penn State. And we'll have post-mortem on the Big Ten baseball tournament and post-mortem on the NCAA lacrosse championship.
Absolutely.
A lot going on next week.